AITA for telling the truth after my girlfriend turned my boundary into a public rumor? The night Vanessa tried to turn my silence into a confession, I realized love can make you patient, but humiliation makes you precise. I'm John, 32, and until all of this happened, I thought of myself as a pretty private person. I worked, paid my bills, kept my circle small, and avoided turning my relationship into public entertainment. Vanessa was 31, and we had been together long enough that our friends treated us like furniture. We were always there, always together, always the couple people assumed would survive the messy things other couples didn't. I knew how she took her coffee. I knew which songs she skipped in the car. I knew she hated cilantro, loved pretending she didn't care about birthdays, and got quiet in a very specific way when she was hiding something. That quiet was how it started. For a few weeks, Vanessa had been glued to her phone in a way that was just different enough to bother me. Not dramatic. Not the kind of thing that would make a sane person kick a door open and demand answers. Just small things. She would turn the screen down when I walked into the kitchen. She would answer a message, smile for half a second, then lock her phone so fast it looked practiced. She started taking calls in the laundry room. Even though we had always been the kind of couple who talked over each other's phone conversations without thinking about it. When I asked once, "Everything good?" she barely looked up and said, "Yeah, just Maya being Maya." Maya was one of our mutual friends, closer to Vanessa than me, so I let it go. Then one night, Vanessa left her phone on the couch while she went to shower. I wasn't snooping. I was picking up the blanket and moving her phone before it slid between the cushions. The screen lit up in my hand. "Derek, still thinking about what you said. Does John know anything?" My stomach dropped in that weird, slow way where your body understands something before your brain can organize it. Derek was in our friend group, but not close. He was one of those people who showed up when Lauren hosted game nights, helped himself to food, made sarcastic comments, and disappeared for months. Vanessa had always acted neutral about him. Not cold, not interested, just normal. I put the phone back exactly where it was. For the next hour, I moved around like nothing had happened. I loaded the dishwasher. I took out the trash. I answered Vanessa when she asked whether we still had paper towels under the sink. But the sentence kept repeating in my head. Does John know anything? Later that night, when she was asleep, I did something I had never done in our relationship. I checked her phone. I'm not proud of it. I'm not going to dress it up as noble. I had a suspicion, and instead of asking a person I already believed might lie, I looked. The thread with Derek was gone. That told me more than a thread would have. There were no cute saved photos. No obvious affair folder. Nothing theatrical. But there was a recently deleted conversation that still showed one preview line from Vanessa. "Vanessa, it meant nothing, and I'm not losing my relationship over one stupid night." I sat on the edge of the bed with her phone in my hand and felt something in me go very still. The next morning, I didn't confront her right away. I went to work. I answered emails. I ate half a sandwich I didn't taste. During lunch, I messaged Derek. I saw enough to know something happened with you and Vanessa. I'm asking one time. How long? He didn't answer for almost 3 hours. Then my phone buzzed. "Derek, I don't want drama." I stared at that message until it made me almost laugh. You were involved before I ever knew your name was in my relationship. How long? Another long pause. "Derek, it was one night. After Lauren's thing. She said you two were basically done emotionally. I'm sorry." I saved the message. Not because I was planning revenge. At that point, I still had this pathetic little part of me that wanted there to be a version of the truth where we could handle it privately, like adults. I wanted Vanessa to sit down, tell me the whole story, take responsibility, and not make me drag it out of her like a confession under a spotlight. That night, I waited until after dinner. Vanessa made pasta. She asked if I wanted Parmesan. She talked about a show she wanted to start watching. She acted so normal that for a second, I felt crazy. Then I said, "How long?" She looked at me with a fork halfway to her mouth. "What? You and Derek." Her face went blank. That was the quiet again. "John," she whispered. "How long?" She set the fork down. Her eyes filled up fast. Too fast. Like the tears were ready and waiting behind a curtain. "It was one night," she said. "It was stupid. It meant nothing." That wasn't my question. She covered her mouth with both hands and started crying. "Please don't do this." "Don't do what?" "Don't turn it into something bigger than it was." I remember leaning back in my chair because that sentence hit me harder than the crying. She was already trying to manage the size of my reaction. You cheated on me, I said. She shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. I know, and I hate myself. I hate myself for hurting you. When? After Lauren's barbecue. That had been 3 weeks earlier. 3 weeks of her sleeping beside me. 3 weeks of her kissing me goodbye in the morning. 3 weeks of her asking why I seemed distracted when something in my gut had already been trying to warn me. I stood up and walked into the living room. Vanessa followed me, crying harder. John, please talk to me. I am talking. No, you're shutting down. I turned around. I'm trying not to say something I can't take back. She hugged herself like I was the one hurting her. I'll do anything. I swear. I'll show you my phone. I'll block him. I'll never talk to him again. Please don't let one mistake define us. One mistake. I hated how small she tried to make it sound. I said, I need time. How much time? I don't know. Are you leaving? Not tonight. Her shoulders sagged like I had given her a gift. Maybe in her mind, I had. Maybe she thought if I didn't leave immediately, that meant the worst was over. It wasn't. For the first few days, Vanessa acted like the perfect regretful girlfriend. She sent long texts from work. I hate myself for hurting you. Please don't let one mistake define us. I love you more than anything. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it. At home, she hovered. She made coffee before I woke up. She cleaned things that weren't dirty. She kept asking if I had eaten. She would touch my arm lightly and watch my face for a reaction. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I didn't call her names. I didn't tell our friends. I didn't even tell Ethan at first, and Ethan was the closest thing I had to a brother. I just became quiet. Not the lying kind of quiet. The kind where every word costs more than it used to. For nights after she admitted it, Vanessa came into the bedroom wearing one of my old t-shirts. She sat beside me on the bed and put her hand on my chest. I gently moved her hand away. Her face changed. Seriously, she said. I'm not ready. She blinked. Not ready for what? Me. For that. That. She laughed once, but it sounded sharp. You can't even say it? I'm not trying to hurt you. Well, you are. I sat up. Vanessa, I can't be physically close right now like nothing happened. I didn't say like nothing happened. That's what it feels like you want. I want my boyfriend back. I'm still here. No, you're not. Her voice cracked. You look at me like I'm disgusting. That's not what I said. That's what you mean. I rubbed my face with both hands. I don't feel safe being close like that right now. She stared at me like I had slapped her. Safe? She repeated. I'm not dangerous. I didn't say you were. You're making me sound like some predator. No, I'm telling you my boundary. She got up from the bed. Your boundary is starting to feel like punishment. I looked at her for a long second. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm not ready. She slept on the couch that night and made sure I knew it by shutting the bedroom door a little too hard. After that, her apology started changing shape. At first, it had been, I hurt you. Then it became, I hate feeling like this. Then it became, how long are you going to make me feel like this? She would corner me in small domestic moments. While I was brushing my teeth. While I was folding laundry. While I was trying to leave for work. If you still love me, why do you act like I'm untouchable? I'm not acting. So I'm just supposed to feel disgusting forever? I didn't call you disgusting. You don't have to. One night, she stood in the kitchen with her arms crossed while the microwave hummed between us. You're making me beg for my own boyfriend, she said. I took the food out, set it on the counter, and said, you don't get to decide how fast I heal. Her eyes narrowed. So you admit this is about making me suffer? No. You're experiencing the distance your choices created. She laughed bitterly. That sounds like something you practiced. I shouldn't have to practice basic boundaries. That was the first time I saw real anger cut through the remorse. Not guilt. Not shame. Anger. Because I wasn't performing forgiveness correctly. A few days later, Maya texted me. Maya, hey. I know things are weird with you and V. Just checking in. I stared at it for a minute before answering. Me. Did she ask you to check in? Maya, no. She's just been upset. Me. About what exactly? Maya. She feels emotionally abandoned. Like you're punishing her, but won't say what you need. I sat at the kitchen table reading that message while Vanessa showered in the other room. Emotionally abandoned. That was neat. Clean. Sympathetic. Me. Did she tell you why we're having problems? The typing bubble appeared, vanished, appeared again. Maya, she said you two are going through something private. Me. That's one way to describe cheating. No response for 11 minutes. Then, Maya, I didn't know that. I believed her. Mostly. But something shifted in me after that. Vanessa was not just processing with a friend. She was editing the story before it reached people. She had taken the cheating out and left only my distance. In that version, she was the lonely girlfriend and I was the cold boyfriend making her feel unwanted. That was when I started saving everything. I made a folder in my phone labeled Relationship Timeline. Not Vanessa Lies. Not Revenge. Nothing dramatic. Just Relationship Timeline. I saved Derek's DM. I saved Vanessa's apology texts. I saved the messages where she wrote, "It meant nothing," and "Please don't tell everyone," and "I hate that I ruined us." I saved a screenshot of Maya, saying Vanessa claimed she felt emotionally abandoned. Again, I wasn't building a weapon. I was building a record, because Vanessa had already started editing history. The invitation to Lauren's game night came that Friday. Lauren loved hosting those casual nights where everyone brought something, but somehow she still ended up feeding half the room. It was supposed to be low-key. Folding chairs in the living room. Snacks on the kitchen island. Canned drinks in a cooler. A board game nobody fully understood. People half watching a game on TV in the background. I didn't want to go. Vanessa did. "We need to be around people," she said, standing in front of the bathroom mirror putting on earrings. "You can go without me." She turned around. "That will look worse." "Worse than what?" "John." "What?" She sighed. "Can we just be normal tonight?" "Normal doesn't mean pretending. You always have to make everything heavy now." I looked at her reflection in the mirror. "You made it heavy." Her mouth tightened. "So this is what we are now?" Every conversation goes back to that. For me, yes. It happened 3 weeks ago. She looked away first. We went. That was my mistake. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the night I needed to see who Vanessa was when privacy stopped serving her. When we arrived, she performed normal like she had rehearsed it. She touched my arm when we walked in. She laughed too loudly at Ethan's joke. She leaned against me at the kitchen island, close enough that anyone watching would think we were fine. I didn't embarrass her. I didn't pull away dramatically. I just stepped aside to grab a drink. Lauren's place smelled like chips, pizza, and the vanilla candle she always burned, even though half the group complained it made the room smell like a cupcake. The coffee table was already crowded with cards, paper plates, napkins, and somebody's phone playing music too quietly to matter. Ethan noticed first. He came up beside me while Vanessa was talking to Maya across the room. "You good?" he asked. "Not really." "Want to talk?" "Not here." He glanced at Vanessa, then back at me. Okay. That was Ethan. Not pushy, not perfect, but he could tell when something was wrong. For the first hour, the night was awkward but survivable. We played some ridiculous guessing game that involved writing answers on little white boards. People argued over rules. Lauren kept telling everyone not to put cups directly on the wood table. Derek was not there, which I was grateful for. Vanessa had 2 drinks quickly. Not enough to be out of control. Enough to give herself permission. The first comment came while we were all trying to guess who had written, "I would survive 1 week in the woods if snacks counted as survival gear." Lauren accused Ethan. Ethan accused Maya. Vanessa pointed at me and said, "Ask John. He's basically a monk now." A few people laughed because they didn't understand. I looked at her. Lauren said, "Okay, we don't need couple details." Vanessa smiled into her drink. Apparently neither do I. The room got a little quieter. I said, "Vanessa." She lifted both hands. "What?" "It's a joke." "It's not." Maya looked down at her phone. Ethan shifted in his chair. We kept playing, but the air had changed. People started overreacting to normal things, laughing too hard, moving too fast, pretending discomfort was just background noise. 20 minutes later, Vanessa did it again. Someone made a joke about couples who act different in public than at home. Vanessa leaned back in her folding chair and said, "Trust me, some people are very different at home." Ethan said, "Vanessa, maybe don't." She looked at him with fake innocence. "What?" "I'm allowed to talk about my own relationship." I set my drink down. "Not like that." Her smile faded. "Oh, right," she said. "Because everything is on your terms now." Lauren stood halfway up. "Can we not do this here?" Vanessa ignored her. Her eyes stayed on me. "You know what?" she said. "Maybe this isn't even about what I did. The room went still. My chest tightened, but I didn't speak. She raised her drink a little, like she was making a toast. Maybe John doesn't want me because I'm not what he's really into. No one laughed. The TV kept going in the background. Some announcer shouted about a play nobody in the room was watching. Someone's ice shifted in a cup. Ethan said, "Vanessa, stop. That's not okay." Vanessa shrugged. "What? I'm just saying what everyone's thinking." Nobody was thinking that. Or if they were, they had no reason to. That was the cruelty of it. She wasn't confused. She was trying to plant something. I looked around the room. Maya's face had gone pale. Lauren's mouth was slightly open. Ethan looked angry now, not just uncomfortable. Vanessa looked satisfied for half a second. That half second told me everything. I put my glass down carefully on the coffee table. "You cheated on me," I said, then got angry that I didn't want to pretend my body forgot what my heart knew. It felt like the entire room inhaled at once. Vanessa's face changed so fast, it would have been funny if it hadn't hurt so much. "Wow," she said, laughing like I had proved her point. "See? He's always so dramatic." "No," I said. "Dramatic is betraying someone, then accusing them of being broken because they won't help you feel forgiven." Lauren whispered, "Vanessa." Ethan looked at me. "What is going on?" I kept my voice even. That mattered to me. If I yelled, she would make the yelling the story. If I insulted her, she would make the insult the story. So I stayed calm. "She cheated," I said. I didn't broadcast it because I thought our private pain deserved privacy. I asked for time and space. I told her I wasn't ready to be physically intimate while I was still processing what happened. Tonight, she decided to turn that boundary into a public insult. Vanessa stood up. "You had no right to tell them that." I looked at her. "You had no right to lie about me." "I didn't lie. You implied something false to shame me." She rolled her eyes. "I didn't say anything specific." "That makes it worse. You wanted people to fill in the blank." Her face flushed. I turned to the room, not because I wanted an audience, but because she had made them one. "There is nothing wrong with anyone's sexuality," I said. "What's wrong is using a fake accusation to shame someone for not being ready to sleep with the person who betrayed them." Nobody spoke. Vanessa's eyes darted from face to face, looking for someone to rescue her. Maya stared at the floor. Lauren started gathering paper plates, even though no one had finished eating. Ethan's jaw was tight. Vanessa said, "You're really going to ruin me over one mistake?" I almost laughed. "No," I said. "I'm done protecting a version of this story that only protects you." Then I grabbed my keys. Vanessa followed me to the entryway. "You're really leaving?" I opened the door. "No," I said. "I'm done being seated for this." Outside, the air felt colder than it should have. I sat in my car for about 2 minutes with both hands on the steering wheel, breathing like I had just run a mile. My phone buzzed before I even pulled away. "Vanessa, how could you humiliate me like that?" Then, "Vanessa, you made everyone hate me." Then, "Vanessa, you had no right." I didn't answer. Ethan texted next. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I should have shut that down sooner." I stared at that one for a long time. "Mia, you should have." A minute later. "Ethan, I know. I drove home, but I didn't sleep in the bedroom. I slept on the couch, not because I wanted to make a point, but because the thought of lying beside Vanessa made my skin feel wrong." She came in around midnight. I heard her keys. I heard her pause by the couch. "You awake?" she asked. I kept my eyes closed. "I know you are." I opened them. Her makeup was smudged under one eye. She looked angry more than sad. "You destroyed me tonight," she said. I sat up slowly. "You tried to destroy me first." "I was drunk." "No, you weren't." "I was embarrassed." That part one believe. Her mouth twisted. "You could have just talked to me." "I did." "You didn't like my answer. You made me look like some horrible person." I stood up and grabbed the blanket. "I didn't make you look like anything." I corrected a lie. She followed me as I walked toward the spare room. "You're really going to sleep in there?" "I'm really going to lock the door." Her face hardened. "This is insane." "No, this is over for tonight." I locked the spare room door and sat on the bed in the dark while she knocked once, then twice, then stopped. The next morning, the group chat was a disaster in slow motion. "Lauren, last night got really uncomfortable." "Ethan, it was more than uncomfortable." "Maya, John, I'm sorry." "Vanessa, wow? So everyone's just taking his side now?" No one responded for 5 minutes. Then Vanessa added, "Vanessa, he waited until everyone was there to make me look evil." Nobody cares what he's been putting me through. I looked at that message while sitting at the kitchen table with coffee I hadn't touched. Vanessa was in the bedroom, moving around loudly, opening drawers, closing them, making sure I heard her existing. I typed carefully. Me. I'm not going to debate my private life in here. Vanessa cheated. I asked for time and space. Last night, she used my refusal to be intimate as a public insult and implied something false about me. That was not a joke. I'm ending the relationship and asking everyone not to repeat lies about me. Then I muted the chat. Vanessa came out of the bedroom 3 minutes later, holding her phone. You're ending the relationship in the group chat? She snapped. No, I'm correcting the group chat. I'm ending it with you right now. She stared at me. You don't mean that. I do. John, I'll pack some things today. We can arrange the rest by text. Her expression shifted from anger to panic. Wait. No. You're not doing this because of one stupid comment. It wasn't one comment. I was hurt. So was I. You wouldn't touch me. I wasn't ready. You made me feel unwanted. You made me feel unsafe. She flinched like that word offended her all over again. I didn't force you to do anything, she said. No, you just tried to shame me in front of our friends until I either defended myself or played boyfriend for you again. Her eyes filled with tears. I love you. I believe that she believed it. That was the part that hurt. I think you love being forgiven, I said. I don't think you love what accountability feels like. She slapped the phone down on the counter. So that's it. That's it. I left for Ethan's place that afternoon with a duffel bag, my laptop, a box of documents, and the weird numbness that comes after a decision your heart made before your mouth did. Ethan didn't ask a lot of questions when he opened the door. He just stepped aside and said, "Guest room's clean." Thanks. After a minute, he said, "For what it's worth, I'm sorry." When she made the first joke, I knew it was wrong. I just froze. I noticed. He nodded. Yeah, I figured. I didn't make him beg for forgiveness. But I didn't pretend it didn't matter either. That night, Maya texted me privately. Maya, I need to send you something. I should have sent it before last night. Then a screenshot came through. It was a private chat between her and Vanessa from before game night. Vanessa, I'm tired of him acting traumatized. Maya, he probably needs time. Vanessa, it's been weeks. If he keeps rejecting me, I'll put him on the spot. Maya, what does that mean? Vanessa, he can either act like my boyfriend again or explain what he's really hiding. I read it 3 times. Not because it was confusing, because it was clear. Maya sent another message. Maya, I thought she was just venting. I didn't think she'd actually say it in front of everyone. My hands were shaking, but my reply was steady. Me, you watched her load the gun and waited until after she fired. She didn't answer right away. Then, Maya, you're right. I'm sorry. I saved the screenshot in the folder. 10 minutes later, Lauren sent me a video. Lauren, I didn't realize my phone caught this. I was recording the game because Ethan was losing his mind over that dumb answer. I don't know if you want it, but you should have it. The video was only 12 seconds long. It showed the coffee table, the game cards, Ethan laughing at something off-screen. Then Vanessa's voice cut in clearly. Maybe John doesn't want me because I'm not what he's really into. The camera jerked slightly. Lauren must have lowered the phone. The last thing it caught was Ethan saying, Vanessa, stop. That's not okay. I saved that too. The next day, Derek messaged me. Derek, I heard what happened. I don't want to be involved. I almost threw my phone. Me, you got involved when you helped break my relationship. Derek, she told me you guys were basically done. Me, we weren't. Derek, I know that now. Me, why are you messaging me? There was a pause. Derek, because she's telling people I manipulated her and that you're making her look bad to save your ego. Of course she was. Me, did she say anything to you after I found out? Derek sent a screenshot. Vanessa, John won't leave me. He just wants to punish me for a while. Derek, you sure? Vanessa, yeah. He loves me too much. He'll get over it once he realizes I'm not going to keep begging forever. I sat in Ethan's guest room looking at that screenshot until the words blurred. That was the deepest cut. Not the cheating itself. Not even the comment at game night. It was the fact that she had looked at my pain and decided it was temporary leverage. Something to wait out. Something to pressure. Something that would pass once I got tired enough, guilty enough, or embarrassed enough. Vanessa didn't think I was healing. She thought I was negotiating. I sent Derek one message. Me, don't contact me again unless she continues spreading false claims, and you're willing to correct what you know. He replied with a thumbs up. Cowardly, but useful. That was Derek in 2 words. By Monday morning, Vanessa had moved from panic to rage. Vanessa, you ruined my reputation. Vanessa, Maya won't answer me. Vanessa, Lauren said she needs space. Are you happy? Vanessa, you're acting like I'm some monster. I waited until my lunch break and replied once. Me, you made my private boundary public first. I corrected a lie. That is not the same as attacking you. She answered immediately. Vanessa, you told everyone I cheated. Me, you implied something false about me in front of everyone. Vanessa, because you made me feel crazy. Me, no. You felt consequences and called them cruelty. Vanessa, I said I was sorry. Me, you were sorry when you thought sorry meant I would go back to normal. She didn't respond for 20 minutes. Then, Vanessa, are you really throwing away all these years? I looked at that one for a long time. All these years. The phrase people use when they want time served to count as innocence. Me, I'm ending the relationship because you cheated, lied by omission to our friends, planned to publicly shame me, and then blamed me for correcting the story. Only text me about belongings or shared expenses. Anything else will be ignored. Then I blocked her everywhere except regular text. It felt brutal. It also felt necessary. The logistics were uglier than the breakup in some ways, because logistics don't care that your life just exploded. There were streaming accounts, a shared warehouse membership, a spare key, a few automatic payments, 2 boxes of my clothes, one of her jackets in my car, and a drawer full of random things that somehow become emotional when you separate them. She wanted to meet face-to-face for closure. I said no. She wanted to drop my things off herself. I said no. She wanted to know if I was afraid to look her in the eye now. I didn't answer that. In the end, Ethan picked up my boxes from the porch while Vanessa was at work. I left her jacket and a few things with Lauren, who offered because she felt bad and, I think, because she wanted one clean, helpful thing to do after freezing during the ugly part. Vanessa texted me a photo of the empty hook by the front door where my keys used to hang. Vanessa, this is really what you wanted? I deleted the message without replying. A week later, Maya asked if we could talk. I almost said no. Then I decided I wanted to hear what she had to say, not because I owed her, but because I needed to know which friendships were salvageable and which were just attached to Vanessa by habit. We met outside a coffee shop. I kept it short. Maya looked exhausted. I'm not going to defend myself, she said. I messed up. Yeah. She came to me crying. She said you wouldn't look at her, wouldn't touch her, barely talk to her. She made it sound like you were trying to break her down. Did she mention Derek? Not until after you said it in the chat. I nodded. Maya swallowed. When she sent that message about putting you on the spot, I thought it was ugly, but I also thought maybe she was just venting. I didn't want to believe she'd actually do it. That helped her. I know. She wasn't just venting. She was planning. I know that now. I looked through the coffee shop window at people waiting for drinks, living normal little mornings. It bothered me how normal the world looked when mine still felt rearranged. Maya said quietly. She told me later that she thought if people started wondering, you'd get embarrassed and act normal. That sentence made my jaw tighten. Act normal, I repeated. Maya nodded. I'm sorry. I believed she was sorry. I also believed sorry didn't erase hesitation. I'm not asking anyone to hate her, I said. I'm asking people not to repeat lies about me. I won't. And Maya? She looked up. Next time someone says they're going to humiliate a person in public, don't wait to see if they mean it. Her eyes watered. I won't. Ethan was simpler. He came over 2 days later with takeout and sat across from me at his kitchen table while I picked at fries. I should have stopped it sooner, he said. Yeah, you should have. I kept thinking Lauren would redirect it or Vanessa would back off. That's what everyone thinks right before someone gets hurt in public. He nodded. You're right. I appreciated that he didn't drown me in excuses. He owned it. That didn't make it perfect, but it made it honest. The friend group didn't explode in some dramatic movie way. No one made a public post. No one held a trial. Nobody threw drinks. Real life is quieter than that. But Vanessa lost something she cared about deeply. Control. People stopped laughing at her version. Lauren stopped inviting her to every casual night. Maya distanced herself. Ethan made it clear that if Derek showed up somewhere, he would leave. The group chat went mostly silent for a while, then slowly restarted without the same rhythm. Vanessa tried a few more times. She texted from a different number once. Unknown. I hope someday you realize how cruel you were when I was already ashamed. I knew it was her. Me. Do not contact me from alternate numbers. If you continue spreading false claims about me, I will respond with the record of what happened. Leave me alone. That was the closest I came to a threat, and it wasn't empty. I had the apology texts, the Derek messages, Maya's screenshot, and Lauren's video. I didn't want to use them. I also wasn't going to be defenseless just so Vanessa could feel less embarrassed. She stopped after that. The strangest part of leaving a long relationship is how much of the pain shows up in stupid places. Not the big dramatic ones people expect. The grocery store was worse than the breakup talk. I reached for the cereal Vanessa liked, and then remembered I didn't need to buy it. I heard a song in the car she always skipped and let it play just because I could. I woke up one Saturday and realized no one was going to ask if I wanted coffee, and for a second the silence felt like loss. Then it felt like space. I started sleeping better. Not immediately, not magically, but slowly. I stopped checking my phone every time it buzzed like it might be another accusation. I stopped rehearsing arguments in the shower. I stopped feeling guilty for not comforting the person who had hurt me. That was the part nobody talks about enough. After betrayal, people expect the injured person to prove they are still kind, still mature, still fair. And I wanted to be all of those things. I really did. But Vanessa had mistaken my restraint for permission. She thought because I didn't expose her right away, I never would. She thought because I loved her, I would eventually offer my body as proof that she was forgiven. I used to think intimacy was something couples returned to when they were trying to heal. Now I understand it has to be safe first. It is not proof of love. It is not proof of masculinity. It is not proof of forgiveness. It is not something you owe someone because they are tired of feeling guilty. Vanessa wanted me to make her feel wanted again before she had done the work to become trustworthy again. When I couldn't do that, she decided the problem had to be me. My distance, my coldness, my identity, my secret, anything but her choices. I never wanted our relationship to become friend group entertainment. I never wanted Derek's messages in my phone, or Maya's apology, or Lauren's video, or Ethan sitting across from me admitting he should have spoken sooner. But when Vanessa made my boundary public, she gave up the protection of my silence. I didn't ruin her reputation. I returned it to her. A month after game night, I picked up the last small box from Lauren's porch. It had a phone charger, 2 books, a hoodie, and a framed photo Vanessa had apparently included by accident or as bait. It was from a summer trip years earlier, both of us smiling at a restaurant table, her hand on mine. I stood by my car and looked at it for a while. Then I took the photo out of the frame, folded it once, and put it in the trash can by the curb. Not angrily, not dramatically, just done. The frame was still useful. That felt right. I kept the folder on my phone for a while, just in case. I didn't look at it unless I needed to remind myself that I hadn't imagined things. Eventually, I moved it to a backup drive and stopped carrying it around in my pocket. Maya texted once more weeks later. Maya, I know this doesn't fix anything, but I want you to know people see it now. She keeps saying you exposed her, but nobody forgets that she tried to expose you first. I didn't answer right away. Then I wrote, Me, I'm not looking for sides. I'm looking for peace. And for the first time in a long time, that was true. I used to think the worst thing after cheating was losing trust. I was wrong. The worst thing is when the person who broke it demands you comfort them with the pieces. Vanessa wanted forgiveness without patience, closeness without safety, and loyalty without honesty. She wanted me to protect her image while she used mine as leverage. I'm not bitter now. I'm clearer. A person who betrays you does not get to demand comfort from the same body they made feel unsafe. And if they turn your boundary into a rumor, the truth is not revenge. It is the consequence they invited into the room. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.